Hello, VCU parents and families. It's great to see you again. My name is Lynanne Yundestead, and I am the Director of New Student and Family Programs here at VCU. And I'm very excited to have with me today a special guest from the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, and that is Greta Franklin, where she serves as the Director of that office and is going to be talking with us a little bit today about how to engage in diversity and inclusion opportunities at the university. There are so many opportunities available for your student and even for you as parents and family members to participate in some of the exciting things that are going on around that topic here at the university. So as always, we are recording the full length of the webinar, and it will be available off of our family blog page. And so please feel free to check it out, come back to it if you need to, if you can't finish the whole thing in one sitting. And also feel free to share it with your student because there will be a lot of relevant information for them. And I'm going to turn things over to Greta, and I'll be back with you at the end to tell you about our next webinar. So take it away, Greta.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lynanne. And again, my name is Greta Franklin. I am the Director of the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs. Our office is located on the Monroe Park campus in the Student Commons in room 215. So today I'm going to be talking about the many and various opportunities that students can engage in related to diversity and inclusion at VCU. So I do want to say that VCU is known to be a very diverse campus ethnically with the student population, but in many ways with the students' age, with the diversity of the programs that are offered at VCU, and diversity and inclusion is really a hallmark of the institution, in which it is a part of our mission statement, as well as the strategic plan. And there's a lot of efforts, both academic, non-academic, student-focused, faculty-focused, related to diversity and inclusion efforts at VCU. Also, too, recently in 2018, students were surveyed about what are the aspects of VCU that attracted them to apply and to attend the institution. And 74% of those students who were surveyed said because of the diversity at VCU. And so it really is a great opportunity for students because there's so many ways that you can grow and develop here at VCU related to diversity and inclusion. So this is what the presentation is about today. I'm specifically going to talk about the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, in which I am the director. And hey, Lynanne, can we stop it for a sec? Hello. So specifically, I'm going to talk about the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, and specifically the programs and initiatives that we offer for the whole campus community, but we also have programs that are specific for specific student populations. So we're just going to really go into that and ways your student can engage with the office in that way. But then I'm also going to highlight some other offices because, like I said, there's so many opportunities and different type of opportunities to get involved on campus. And even the ones that I'm going to highlight in no way gets all of and covers all of the ways that students can engage in diversity and inclusion opportunities on campus. So please, still do your research and know that there are other ways, but I'm just going to highlight a few. Okay, so a little about the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs. So again, we are a resource for the entire campus community, but we provide diversity, inclusion, and social justice education for VCU and the surrounding area. We serve as student advocates, and we offer opportunities for community building and identity affirmation for underrepresented students and student organizations. And that is to say, that is our official mission statement, but that essentially says that we are a resource for the entire campus community. We do have specific programming related to students' identity groups, in particular race, ethnicity, gender, and gender identity and sexual orientation related to those specific identities. We cover many different topics through our programming in the office. And anybody can engage with our office. So we always want to make that a point to know that even if you do not identify in with certain racial, ethnic, religious, cultural groups, there are many opportunities for you to engage as well. So one of the ways that we do engage students, and I think a great one for first year and transfer students, is our MCAP program. So there's a lot of acronyms at any university or college campus. So MCAP stands for Multicultural Connections and Advisement Program, MCAP. And so MCAP is a very unique program in that a lot of mentoring programs are sort of one level where it's either a student to student mentoring. So it's kind of a student who is, upper class student who is a, sophomore through senior is mentoring a student who is first year student or, a new transfer student. Or you have a student who has a faculty or staff mentor. The unique thing about this program is that it's 3-tier. So the 3-tier means that there is a faculty staff mentor, there's a student mentor, like I was saying, the upper class student who is, usually a sophomore through senior, right, an undergrad. We do have a couple of students, graduate students who are mentors to undergraduate students. Usually they are grad students who graduated from VCU. And then you have your first year or transfer student. We call those mentees. Who have mentors. And so that process allows students to get sort of a holistic mentoring process for them, and meaning that you get the day-to-day support from a student who's been through it, who's been through the classes, who's lived in the residence halls, if they're commuter, have commuted and understand, what to do during your downtimes, how to navigate classes, how to get around campus. That's what the student is for. It can give you that sort of day-to-day experience, support, and guidance. And the faculty staff mentor is there to give you more of a larger perspective about, your academics, and also what are your next steps, right? Because you're only going to be at VCU for a certain amount of time, right? And so after your time at VCU, what will you be doing? What is your career goals? And so that's the great thing about this program. Also throughout the program, we really encourage students to just get engaged, beyond that relationship they have with their mentors or with their mentees. So we provide social opportunities for them, mixers, also professional and social development. So we just did a workshop on time management, and we had a student who is a senior who is doing very well, is a very engaged student leader, and also is doing very well academically. And she has she's excellent at time management. She plans out her whole day, like pretty much every minute of her day. And so she did a workshop to students to say, this is how I do it. This is what works best for me. But she also said, you have to find what works for you as well. And so we do many things to engage students just beyond that mentor relationship. But it's a great program. We encourage students to get involved. So if you're a student, finishing up their first year and they're doing well and they want to mentor another student, that would be great. There's still opportunities to get involved at any level with MCAP. MCAP does focus on, as we said, underrepresented students. So majority of the students in MCAP are students who are racial and ethnic, underrepresented students, and students who identify as LGBTQ, which stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. Q is queer questioning. So students who are sexual orientation or gender identity underrepresented students at VCU as well. But the thing is, we also are open to any student. So if any student learns about MCAP and says, I want to be a part of the program, we do allow any student with the understanding that they know, what the program is about and what the goals are. And if you want to be involved, that's great. We are a public institution, and everything that we do is open to students, although we do have particular focus of specific student populations at times. Another way students can get involved is our OMSA Diversity Ambassadors. So these are students who, so we do trainings and workshops, which I'll talk a little bit about in OMSA as well, just our staff members. And so, and some really common requests that we get are to talk about unconscious bias and how bias may impact behaviors related to, leadership decisions, promotions, behavior in the office, maybe creating somewhat of a toxic environment in different settings, in teams and work environments, things of that nature, facilitating difficult dialogues and inclusive language as well. Those are several, usually that's the kind of topics that different requests from student organizations, from departments on campus for us to come in and give trainings and workshops about that. So what we do with the diversity ambassadors is we actually train students to do those presentations as well, because OMSA staff, there's only so many of us and so much time. And we also know that students, it's a great way for students to put action behind their passion. There's a lot of students who are very passionate about educating the campus community about diversity and inclusion topics. And this is a great way to channel that interest and energy and passion, because they then are able to be peer educators, to go out and talk to other students, to other faculty, staff, but mainly students and student organizations. What's required of that, it's not a huge time commitment for students. They have to attend a training, one per semester, so one in the fall, one in the spring, and they are required to do at least a couple presentations throughout each semester. It really is based on the student's schedule. Other than the trainings, it's based on the student's schedule. So it's a great opportunity if you have a student who has a very busy schedule and may not be able to be committed to something that is a bit more regimented and have, meetings at a specific time that they can't make. So, but it's also a great opportunity to learn more about diversity and inclusion topics, because, as you present, you also learn more about things, you do more research yourself. So it's a great opportunity for students. In general, as I was saying before, OMSA just generally provides diversity and inclusion dialogues and programs and workshops throughout the year. So specifically, we have a series called the Dispelling Myths series. And really, it can be about any topic, but it's about dispelling myths and misconceptions about cultural or racial or ethnic identity groups, and with the whole sort of wide spectrum when we say cultural, topics. And also too, it provides an opportunity to for people to learn more, to maybe discuss some things that seem a bit hard to ask, questions that people may not want to ask and may have misconceptions about. So the Dispelling Myths series also empowers students. This is another opportunity to give students to have a voice and to say, here's a bit more about who I am or ways that I identify. And it just really helps people to connect with it, especially because the majority of the students who do present for Dispelling Myths are students. We've had a couple of faculty and staff members to present as well, but mainly it is a student facilitated series. We also have discussion groups. We have a Women of Color discussion group, and that's very informal. We meet maybe every couple of weeks or once a month, depending on the interest of students. And really, it's an open-ended discussion group where students can come in and just discuss sort of any topic related to being a woman of color and experiences and how to navigate spaces. And so it's a great open environment, and also where students can get support. It's a safe space where you can, really say what's going on and how you feel. And again, it's open to any student. Of course, mostly students who identify as women of color, whatever that means for them, go to the discussion group. But everything's open to all students. We also have a men of color listening group that just started this semester. And same, we do have some questions, some guiding questions, but it's very open for students to share their experiences. We also have queer coffee hour that happens, and that's again a social gathering, very informal. Queer using the term that is sort of an umbrella term related to people who are who identify as gender identity and sexual orientation, underrepresented folks. So that is sort of an umbrella statement, and in terminology, using the word queer. So it's queer coffee hour, and we have them Tuesdays and Fridays. And again, just opportunities for students to come together and to build community, and to affirm who they are and their identities, and to be in a safe space. So we enjoy providing those opportunities for students and for them to feel like there's spaces for them to be their authentic selves in whatever environment that they're in on campus. We also have what we call living learning communities through residence life. And the living learning communities are in which students live. They all live on the same floor in a residence hall, and they usually take a course. Some do not take a course, but for our living learning communities, which are Lavender or Mosaic, they do take a course in the fall semester. It's either a 1 or 2 credit course in which we cover sort of a wide spectrum of diversity, inclusion, and social justice topics. Some things that we focus on are, identity, like racial identity, gender, sexual orientation. We sort of talk about privilege, power and privilege, bias, topics of that nature. So there's the tie-in with the mission and programming that we do in OMSA. And so this is open to first-year students, and usually we have about 30 students who are in both living learning communities, but this is a great option for incoming students. If you know of any students who are coming to VCU, this is a great option if they want a real kind of immersive experience where they're learning about diversity, inclusion, and social justice topics, and also living with other students who are interested in that topic. And also it's kind of identity based as well. So it's very immersive, and it's, very much for students who are very passionate about diversity, inclusion topics. Another way that we celebrate students and their many identities, we have the Cultural Heritage Month. And so there are national months that focus on many different cultural groups, cultural, racial, ethnic groups. And so here at VCU, and in particular at the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, we observe Latinx Heritage Month. Nationally, it's known as Hispanic Heritage Month, but we use the term Latinx to be inclusive of folks who identify in many different ways related to Latin American identities. And so we do Latinx Heritage Month. We do LGBTQIA History Month, which is in October. And again, that relates back to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. The I stands for intersex, and A stands for asexual. And we put plus as well, because there's many other identities beyond those. But that is LGBT History Month in October. I think nationally it is celebrated during another month, but it's usually during a month that we students are kind of in exam mode and sort of cycling out of the semester of the year. We do Indigenous Peoples Heritage Month. I think nationally it is it's either called American Indian or Native American History Month. We do, and we use the term Indigenous Peoples Heritage Month because we want to be, again, inclusive of all folks who are Indigenous to many different countries. So it's not just being centered on the United States, it's any country. So it's more of a global perspective of how you identify as Indigenous peoples. We have Black History Month in February. We're currently in Black History Month. Programming for Black History Month just kicked off yesterday for our office. There are many different areas and student organizations who contribute to the program for Black History Month, but I encourage you to go to our website and click on the programs in Black History Month to see the full list. A lot of the events are open to the public, so you're more than welcome to come and check those out. And all of the programs we do for the Cultural Heritage Month, most are open to faculty, staff, and students, and the community. If they're not, we will indicate such that it is closed to just specific populations. And March, we do Women's History Month, and we wrap up the year with Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, API, in April. And so, yeah, so we always have a lot of programming going on. The great thing about the Cultural Heritage Months is that we have planning committees for all of them, and the planning committees include students, faculty, and staff. So it is a very collaborative process. It's not just staff from the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, it's staff from and faculty and students from a wide spectrum of the campus. And we really do want it to be students to be on the committee so that we're doing programming that we know is students are interested in, right? And that they're engaging and informative, and just allow students to really explore more about that cultural group during that month. And we usually wrap up the year with cultural achievement ceremonies. And so cultural achievement ceremonies that specifically focus on students who identify as African American or Black, which we call donning of the Kente ceremony, students who identify as Latinx or Hispanic, and that's the Latinx achievement ceremony, and students who identify as LGBTQ plus, which is the Lavender graduation. And so just some history about cultural achievement ceremonies. Universities and colleges across the country celebrate these specific ceremonies for specific racial and ethnic groups because of the history associated with specific groups entering into university and colleges spaces, and it being something that is a great achievement that is not just for the individual but for the family. It's a very communal experience. Many students are first generation or and sometimes first in this country, so they're not just representing themselves, they're representing their families, and they're representing their grandparents, and people before them who have worked really hard for them to be able to go to college and to get a degree. So and also too, these are also populations of students who at some point in history were not always allowed in every university or college or every space in academia. So we do acknowledge that there's been a lot of challenges and barriers and issue in lack of access for certain populations. So it is a great celebration, and we always want to recognize the culture, and also that it's a communal experience, and it's about everybody who's helped you get to the point that you're at, and the saying, it takes a village, it's kind of cliche, but it's true. And a lot of students, that has been their experience. A lot of people have helped them get to where they're at. So those are great celebrations. Those always happen at the end of the semester. During those ceremonies, students get a stole that kind of represents their sort of cultural identities, and you get someone from your family or friends to what we call don you, meaning that they put the stole on you, and so it's a great experience, and students really enjoy it, and it's a great way for them to end their experience at VCU, and go on to their next steps. Okay. So that's pretty much a general overview of our office. Of course, I could go in more details about some of the programs that we do, but that's a good snapshot of what we do. And so I really much encourage you to follow us on our social media sites. We have a great graduate assistant for graphic design and marketing, and she's really worked on our social media sites. So we have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Instagram, we post a lot of Instagram stories and photos, and so that's a great way to follow us and know all the programs that are going on. You can also email us if you have very specific questions. So if you review this webinar and you're like, oh, I want to know a bit more about this program, or if you have questions about something, you can email omza@vcu.edu. And you can also go to our website, which is omza.vcu.edu as well, and get more information about the office. So that's information about OMZA. Again, please, go to our site, follow us on social media to learn more about us. And I hope that you're interested, or tell your student that, they should learn more about OMZA and get engaged if diversity and inclusion is something that they're interested in and want to get more engaged in on campus. Okay. So now I'm going to transition to some other offices that focus on diversity and inclusion topics. Again, this is not an exhaustive list, but just sort of FYI about some other areas. Some areas are more resource and support driven, and not maybe as engagement and program and leadership driven. But they're also, I think, helpful resources for you to know about and for you to inform your student about. So we have the Dean of Students area, which is under the umbrella of Student Affairs. And so the Dean of Students is general support of students with a focus on usually issues related to if there's a student of concern, if students need support related to a bias incident. There's also information on their website about name change. So if your student needs to has a legal name and they want to go by another name, they can do that, or change their gender marker. They can do that as well with information that's on the Dean of Students site. So I think that's a very helpful site as well. And I think in general, if you have concerns about your student and it's not specific to any office, the Dean of Students area is always a good area to start with, and then they can help you, be more specific about which office or resource your student can engage in to get help. Another office is the Division of Inclusive Excellence. The Division of Inclusive Excellence is more of a university-wide resource. And so the Division of Inclusive Excellence focuses on faculty and staff diversity and inclusion training, and also supporting diversity and inclusion courses and general training and dialogues. They do also diversity and inclusion survey, climate. So it's very sort of big picture initiatives related to diversity and inclusion. But I think they're a good resource to go to if you generally want to have a sense of where the university is going related to their strategic plan, related to their mission, related to diversity and inclusion. So sort of big picture diversity and inclusion topics. There's also student access and educational opportunities acronym is SAEO. So SAEO is a great resource as well. They provide academic and medical accommodations for students, assistive technology consultations, also workshops and trainings related to how to, best work with students that need learning accommodations or some type of medical, physical, processing, support in the classroom, in and outside of the classroom. So SAEO is a great resource for that. There's also a student group. I think the student group of students with disabilities and chronic illnesses is a group that's sort of affiliated with that office as well, because we also want to recognize that ability status is also a part of diversity and inclusion, of understanding people's experiences related to ability is also important. And finally, we have University Counseling Services, and so, which is UCS. And so this provides personal sessions, like therapy sessions for students, but also group sessions, which is excellent. So they have group sessions about many different topics. Some could be about stress, how to deal with stress, how to deal with home sickness, as first year new students, but they also have specific sort of groups for specific identity groups. So they have a group session for international students to sort of process the challenges of navigating, being at a university as an international student. And then there's also a group called the Rainbow Group that focuses on LGBTQ plus students, and also how to navigate based on your identities in a university setting. So those are some resources, and I didn't list it, but I am thinking as I'm talking to you, there's also the study abroad office, there's global education. So there's a lot on campus related to diversity and inclusion. But I think those are ones that I know that provide specific resources for students, as well as far as helping and supporting them through navigating based on their identities. So that is my presentation. I really appreciate you listening to me today. I really hope that you learn more about the many opportunities that exist on campus, that you learned about the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, and will tell your student to learn more about what we're doing and maybe get engaged if it's an area that is of interest to them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Greta. So I've got just a couple of questions that I'm going to ask kind of on behalf of some of our families.
Excellent.
And so the first question that I have for you is in regard to the MCAP program, the mentor program that you mentioned early on in your presentation.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a student who I think would really benefit from this, but maybe they're a little hesitant about signing up for things, or the idea of a mentor is kind of intimidating for them, what kind of advice might you have for me as a parent or family member to encourage them to participate?
I would say to tell the student that it's a great opportunity, and they should just look into it, because it's somebody else. If they want to think about it, it's somebody else that can just provide support and give you advice. And I think, in a way, you can say this is somebody who is specifically here to help you, right? And so, if you need guidance or want to just like have someone to talk to bounce ideas off of, you have somebody who, one, has really been through it because they've been a student at VCU, but also two, they're going to see it in a more sort of objective way. So sometimes if you go to another student, or someone else, they're going through their own experience, and they're experiencing it the same time you are. So sometimes maybe they're not as helpful as somebody who's already been through it and can sort of who has kind of stepped away from that, and has been through that and can give you that advice, right? And so I would say if they're hesitant, say it's nothing but positive experience. And also too, you sort of determine what that relationship will be. So if they feel like, oh, I think it's going to be too much time, or like, will they, want to be best friends with me? Because I really don't want a best friend, and it's really based on what you need. So when we train the students, the mentors are trained. When we train the students, we really say, the relationship is about what the student needs. So some students do want somebody who they can talk to about everything, about relationship stuff and class stuff, everything. And some students are very more career, and academic driven. And so they have more questions related to, if I take certain classes or certain professors or internships, they have those type of questions. So really you sort of shape and mold what that relationship will be. So if they have any concerns about like, what is it going to be like? What if I don't like them? And I would say all the students who are mentors, like we work really hard to make sure that you're matched with somebody who can support you, and has enough in common that they can provide you with resources, even if they don't specifically know, they know where to direct you. So I would say just do it. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is that maybe you get someone that you don't necessarily click with, but I would say all the students are great students. All the mentors are great students. So I doubt that, it will be a negative experience, it will be positive, and it'll help you and it'll expand your, your networks on campus.
Great. One thing a lot of our family members ask about are opportunities for students to work with various offices as an employee or a work study student. Do you have opportunities like that available? And if so, what are they?
Yes, so we do. In our office, our student support, we have graduate assistants that work on specific initiatives with the office. They support staff in working on initiatives. And then we have what we call our work study students, who we call we call them program assistants, our work study students. And so we do have work study student opportunities for undergrad students. And usually we hire about 4 or 5 students a year. So, and usually if most students are interested in continuing to work and they performed well. So if they're a first year student and they want to work in the office again the next year, if they've performed well, they will continue to work in the office. And the students that work in our office really help out with, they support us in, our programming. So it may be, working on a flyer or setting up for an event or, sending out couple emails related to what's going on in the office and just general support. They may answer the phone sometimes. So they're sort of do a wide spread of things that support the office. And so our recruiting period is that we recruit for the fall. We'll probably start recruiting for the fall soon. Probably we'll post positions on Handshake and different venues probably in March. For students to start in the fall. And also too, we usually have 2 summer assistants. So students that can help us out with events that are going on for new student orientation and just preparing for the fall semester, because we do a lot of the planning for our programming in the summer as well. So we have 2 positions in the summer and usually about, depending on the student's schedule, 4 to 5 students during the academic year. So I would encourage students to go on Handshake soon, and we'll be posting positions for next fall.
Awesome, great. And then the last question I have for you, you mentioned several of the different cultural achievement ceremonies.
Mhm.
As a parent or a family member, how would I find out about those when those are happening, so that I can try to make sure that my student includes me on that if I want to be there to celebrate that achievement with them?
Yes. So our ceremonies are posted on the VCU commencement site. So they usually list the major commencement ceremonies for the university and then different departmental and different ceremonies like our cultural achievement ceremony. So you can always go to the overall VCU commencement site. Also, what we usually do is I think that's the best way for family members to and to learn about those ceremonies. But with students, we also send out an email that goes to a large range of students who sort of align with the populations that usually engage in the cultural achievement ceremonies. So the students know about it that way. We put information on our website as well. And family members can go to our website to learn information about the latest cultural achievement ceremonies that are occurring. But I think the key is making sure that they do engage with their student to make sure that the student has, because there is like a registry, well, yeah, they do have to register. In essence, we have to know that you're coming, and we have to know how many guests you're bringing, and who's going to be the person that puts the stole on you, the donor. So I think the key in my experience is to making sure it all syncs up, that the family members know what's happening, but also the student is conveying what's happening as well. So staying in good communication with your student is really good, and making sure that they meet deadlines, because sometimes it can be that the student is planning to attend, but maybe didn't quite get to filling out that the registration form. And so making sure that they do everything they need to do to participate in the ceremony.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I apologize if anyone can hear the background noise. I just have a trash delivery truck or pickup truck right behind my office. So there's some beeping and backing up and dumpster sounds in the background. So, well, I just want to again thank Greta for her wisdom and sharing a little bit about her office and their initiatives with us today. And I also want to invite you all to participate in our next webinar with us. It is going to be Tuesday, February 18th, so in 2 weeks at 11 a.m. And the topic is moving from reaction to prevention, understanding Title IX. So many of you as parents or family members at orientation, or perhaps throughout your students' time at the university, may have heard a little bit about Title IX, but may not completely understand what that is. So in our next webinar, we're going to explain a little bit about what Title IX is and its purpose and how it protects your student. And some of the current initiatives in place at VCU will be discussed so that we can focus on how we're working to prevent sexual assault, harassment, stalking, relationship violence, and we're going to cover some resources as well for those who are impacted. So a very relevant topic and something that I think will be very interesting if you're not too familiar with Title IX already. So hope you will join us then. As always, we will catalog this recording on our blog so that you can always refer back to it. And I hope that you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks.